Most beginners use watercolor pencils to sketch or to touch up a watercolor painting. And that's the number one mistake because watercolor pencils are not a side tool. They are a full painting medium from start to finish. And in this video, I'm going to prove it by painting this entire tangerine using nothing but watercolor pencils. Here's the reference I'll be painting from. A simple tangerine, and that's the point, because if watercolor pencils can convincingly render something as textured, luminous, and dimensional as this, then you can use them for absolutely anything. Landscapes, portraits, still life, wildlife, they are not limited, but the way a lot of people use them is. So let's start with something that might surprise you. I'm sketching this with a regular graphite pencil, and I know watercolor pencils are often recommended for sketching. They erase pretty well unless you press too hard or use very dark colors. But I prefer graphite because it still erases cleaner, it's easier to remodel, and for this tangerine, the lines will show up better. I'm also using a limited palette with yellow, red, light blue, dark blue, and white. And I chose not to use orange. I'll explain that later. So if I tried sketching with a yellow watercolor pencil, the lines might not be that visible. And if I sketched with red, I'd risk seeing a red outline later. And that's unnecessary work. That's why graphite gives me flexibility. It lets me use the colors that I want, and it keeps things simple. Now the coloring stage begins. This is where most people stop mentally. They color, they activate quickly, and think that's it because let's be honest, most tutorials online kind of stop there. But in fact, this is just the beginning with watercolor pencils. I don't sharpen my pencils razor sharp unless I absolutely need to. A slightly blunt tip actually prevents streaks and harsh lines. Another tip is to press lightly and use long oval motions so strokes overlap naturally. This reduces visible start and stop marks, which is something many beginners struggle with when pigment doesn't dissolve evenly later. And notice something important already. I'm using a limited palette on purpose. Yellow and blue make green. It's convenient for the stem and the leaf. Yellow and red, instead of just grabbing an orange pencil, might have surprised you when I mentioned it earlier. But I recommend it because together, these two colors give me a wider range of oranges and more control on the final color. You can see it already here. And then something subtle but powerful happens. That's color mixing directly on paper. It is much more than sketching, as you can see. I avoid the highlight area on the tangerine since paper white is powerful for anything watercolor. Plus, with watercolor pencils, preserving light is easier than with traditional watercolor because you're building gradually, but you still need to think ahead. I overlap more yellow on top of areas I've colored. I find that doing this pre-blends the pigment slightly, and it fills tiny gaps in the paper texture. It kind of smooths things out before activation even happens. Underneath the tangerine, I use light blue to draw the shadow. And notice what I'm doing. I'm drawing the shape of the shadow. I'm observing the reference. This feels closer to colored pencil logic here. That's the hybrid nature of watercolor pencils. Sometimes more like regular pencil, sometimes more watercolor. A key mindset shift here is that for a base layer like this one, your drawing should already look close to the final result before you activate. Now it's time to activate and deepen this. And this is one of the reasons watercolor pencils are beginner friendly because you can build slowly. You can stop and finish later. You're not racing against drying washes like in traditional watercolor, or not even trying to fill every nook and cranny of the paper like colored pencil, since the water will take care of that. Activation is where most people struggle and decide watercolor pencils are messy or disappointing, but it's not the medium, it's the water control, and once you know the technique, it's easy. So I'm using a small pointy brush for the stem that I've wet, and every time I wet it, I dab it on a paper towel afterwards. This helps remove excess water because with watercolor pencils, you don't need a soaking brush. Too much water is what causes messy paintings with muddy colors. I start activating the stems section by section, and I rinse my brush between colors. That is a non-negotiable. Then I move on to the fruit with a slightly larger brush. I start by wetting the highlight area first, so the oranges melt gently into it instead of flooding over it. I follow the curve of the fruit with my brush strokes. And even though the paper is flat, my strokes respect the three-dimensional form, and that's going to help you build realism later. Then the leaf, and again, a damp brush for better defined edges and no flooding. You can see how the colored drawing transforms into a painted version of itself. This is what to aim for. Nothing is chaotic because we controlled water by using very little of it, and it's that simple. Finally, the blue shadow underneath. And I wet everything around it first so the color spreads out naturally into the white paper. At this point, if someone believed watercolor pencils were only for sketching, that belief should already be gone. This already looks like a painting, but we're not done yet. Now comes the second layer. This is where depth and shadows appear. I overlap colors again on the tangerine, but this time I introduce indigo into the stem and the leaf for deeper shadows. Indigo is strong, so I use it carefully, and that's why you didn't see me use it too early. On the fruit itself, I avoid using indigo for shadow because it would overpower the oranges. So instead, I use light blue to create a very subtle shadow that enhances the warmth of the tangerine instead of killing it. This drawing is even closer to finished before activation, and that's completely intentional. Remember, we want to see the subject before adding water. I activate again using the same technique as before. Damp brush, I rinse it constantly, and I follow the curves of the fruit. Now I start creating a few details by gently pulling pigment to create tiny dots in the highlight area. This helps suggest the dotted skin texture. When I activate blue shadows on the fruit, I'm extra careful not to drag that blue into bright orange zones. That is where many beginners create accidental mud. Remember the section by section approach and using little water. I get into more and more detail. That's why I deepen the crease at the top of the fruit. And now I strengthen the cast shadow underneath. Most tutorials would have stopped with the base layer, as you know if you've looked for some online, but watercolor pencils can go even further than this here. This is still not the end. So for example, now I wet the lead on my red pencil. Only the pigment core, not the wood casing. This softens the tip and it allows me to place more intense red marks for skin texture. The effect is stronger and more dimensional than dry layering alone. And I do the same with yellow. And because the painting is already activated and dry, these new marks sit beautifully on top. I also use the white pencil, both dry and with a damp tip, to emphasize highlights in a subtle way. White watercolor pencil behaves differently than white gouache. It integrates better, and when it's wet, it can look very crisp. Look at the texture now. This is not a sketch, and it's pretty realistic, but we can do even more than that. For example, in the background, I use sandpaper to deposit a light blue pigment directly onto the paper. Then I smear it gently with a paper towel in circular motions. It's fast, fun, and completely street-free. And as you can imagine, this technique alone expands what watercolor pencils can do. I'm not activating this today since watercolor pencils can remain dry and still look smooth and intentional. The light blue background complements the orange fruit and makes it pop. That's color theory since these two colors are complementary. And we're still not done because lifting works beautifully, and not just for watercolor painting, but with watercolor pencils too. I just dampen a brush and I gently lift along the edge of the tangerine. Then I blot with a paper towel. Instantly, the edge pops against the blue background. It makes sense now we have that background, as you can see. We have more dimension and more realism. So everything you've seen in this video was done with watercolor pencils from start to finish, sketch excluded, because graphite, I think, is still king for that. So the number one mistake beginners make with watercolor pencils is simply to underestimate them. Only use them for sketching or for touch-ups. Treat them like a secondary tool in a way. So if you shift your mindset and treat them like a full painting medium instead of a helper, you'll discover a whole new medium. And if you want to go deeper into all of these techniques and more, including landscapes, wildlife, and even portrait, you can join my watercolor pencil mastery course. It's self-paced with structured lessons and my support if you need feedback. You'll find it in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.